योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्.
Person, Dr. Kulkarni sir, and all participants. I would like to thank HRDC team, Gujarat University, and Jani sir to give me a chance to introduce today's resource person, Dr. Kulkarni sir. Honorable Chairperson, respected dignitaries, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, I am very glad pleasure to introduce today's resource person, Professor Dr. K.M. Kulkarni sir. He has been professor in Department of Geography, Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. He is very brilliant and bright academic career. He has been brilliant and bright academic career. He is having tremendous teaching and research experience of more than 45 years. His research experience, project work, guidance, everything is excellent and appreciable. His research experience, project work. As a research guide, he has guided 7 candidates. He was awarded with life membership of more than 12 professional organizations. He also has been honored with well-known award Hari Om Ashram, Sardar Patel University, Gujarat, for his outstanding 5 research papers. He also participated in training program of University of Regina, Canada. His academic career is extremely appreciable with research, publications, number of books, reviews, international journals. He has also published more than 40 research papers. Dear friends, we are really very lucky to have such a scholar, research person like Professor Dr. K.M. Kulkarni sir. Hardly welcome, sir. Thank you.
I hope you don't belong to Eknath Shinde, who is the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Thank you so much. At the outset, I thank Professor Jani and Professor Khatik and Mahesh Patel for organizing this lecture. As the background of the participants, I was told that it is beyond Gujarat. Though there are large number of participants are from Gujarat, there are also participants from outside Gujarat. So I start with simple English. I deliver my lecture in simple English and maybe including some Hindi medium. So, though the title of my lecture is on philosophical and methodological research in geography, as you all know that the intersubject barrier has now vanished with the new educational policy. The integration of science and social sciences, there is a lot many methodological approaches which are intermixed. So there is any barrier among the disciplines. In the Western countries, the science graduate can take up any of the social science courses. A physics person can take psychology or sociology or any other courses. So there is hardly any kind of the social or any kind of disciplinary barrier. So I can say that with my long experience in Gujarat University and earlier also in Bombay University, where I did my post-graduation and PhD, and Nehru University as research officer for 2 years, I will share my experiences in research methods, where I'll be going through certain kind of slides. As you all know, that research is a continuous process. It is to bring out the reality of nature. Now, nature includes both physical and human. Physical and human. So all disciplines, whether social science discipline or science disciplines, they always try to unfold the reality. And reality is illusion, in the sense bringing the reality, because appearance may be different, but it's a deceptive appearance. One has to get into the hidden reality. And there are a number of methods where you can devise the hidden reality, or you can unravel the hidden reality. Now, to just give an example, in Western countries, the sociologists, when they do research of social survey and levels of living of or quality of living or standard of living of the society, instead of, as many of us, the social scientists take questionnaire and do household survey. But household survey, while carrying out the household survey, the reality may not be revealed. Some of the respondents may give false information. But in order to understand what their consumption pattern or the standard of living, what they have done in the American universities, the sociologists particularly, the dustbin analysis, that is, whatever the household disposes as garbage, day-to-day garbage, that garbage is analyzed. So that really gives what kind of the goods and what kind of goods, consumer goods they consume, maybe in terms of soaps, paste, or food products. In every kind of food products, you have quality, you have a range. So what even in terms of the vehicles, you can say the upper class, upper middle class, upper lower class, you can categorize. The lowest may be the Maruti 800 or something of that kind, and you have the range of this thing. So from that you can say what is the standard of living. So in terms of the consumption, in terms of consumption, you can categorize whether they are using the high standard of products, or medium standard of products, or the lower standard of products. So that gives the reality. Instead of going through the questionnaire method, if one carries out that kind of analysis, the waste paper basket or the garbage disposal of each household, that gives the real kind of thing. And they have a discipline called even garbology in the Western universities. You may be surprised to know that garbology has become a independent discipline, where garbage is dumped. There also they are making the analysis of the depth in the past, what kind of products were there, and in the recent past, what kind of products are being used. So this is how you can devise certain kind of methods while carrying out the research. So both it is natural and human, and geographers are in a unique position in the sense we belong to science discipline, we belong to social science discipline. So we combine the methods, whatever kind of methods scientists are using, and whatever kind of methods social scientists are using, we are combining. Plus, we have our own unique method of analyzing, that is through cartographic method. that is a spatial approach or through map analysis. This is the only discipline which studies the spatial patterns, spatial interactions, spatial patterns and spatial integration kind of aspects that gives the overall integrated kind of thing. So we deal with the space, we deal with the time, deal with the social phenomena or any kind of issues. So this is the kind of unique approach which brings to the integrated or synthesis of all disciplines. Synthesis of all disciplines. In geography, we use the sociometric methods, econometric methods or psychometric methods, because even certain kind of social phenomena can be measured. Social phenomena can be measured through psychometric scale or even sociometric scales. So social well-being or quality of life or even happiness, in the past it was very difficult to measure how happy you are, how healthy or how well-being, what is the kind of status of well-being or the level of well-being the individual has. Now there are various methods, and those methods are being improved, the scalogram or the scale, and using that scale, you measure the level of well-being, very high level of well-being, high level of happiness. All those kind of phenomena can be now measured, which was difficult to measure in the past. So we have the statistical methods, quantitative methods, cartographic methods. You can use any kind of the methods. So I will be taking the slides. As I was telling, that research is a process which acquires knowledge about any natural or human phenomena. So only these are the two important components. Nature and man, or nature and humanity are the only two components, and these have the different branches, like the physical sciences, chemical sciences, biological sciences, and among the humanities we have various kinds of branches. So all those branches, we have the specialization in geography, that is as part of sciences. We have geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography. Now these are the kind of science related disciplines, because it's all part of environment. So we have the detailed study of oceanography, climatology, and geomorphology and biogeography. Similarly, among the human phenomena, we have all kinds of social geography, economic geography, behavioral geography, political geography. So many such kind of disciplines, even historical geography. So it's a discipline that covers wide ranging of disciplines, A to Z, you can say. Astronomical geography to zoo geography. Even we have medical geography. So name any discipline, name any topic, you have prefix or suffix of geography, where we see the distribution aspect and the interrelated aspects, and the identifying the patterns and its analysis of that phenomena. And we have the kind of rapid social, economic, and technological changes of modern times. It is both the cause and the effect, because the development, social development or economic change, technological change takes place because of the discoveries and the inventions, and also various kinds of research, and whatever kind of research or in the form of technological changes take place that influence again these phenomena. Now you all know that there is so much of technological changes. The space and time component has been changed. The concept of space and time has changed. The entire more than 30 volumes of Britannica Encyclopedia now you can have in pen drive. In the sense, the space concept. The space concept, I'm not talking of the astronomer's space, or physicist's space, but I'm talking of the geographer's space, where we identify even the intimate space, personal space, social space, and public space in terms of distance and everything. So the space has undergone considerable change because of the computer technology in the recent past. That is, pen drive has having so much of storage capacity, and while understanding this society and the social behavior, we can use the concept of space. Now, because of COVID phenomena, now we are having, everyone is now using the social distance. Now, long back when we were studying in social geography, we used to have the social distance. The longer the social distance, lesser the social intimacy. And the lesser the social distance, more the intimacy, or the more the interaction, the stronger the relation. So in terms of space, the social space is with reference to distance also, social distance. And increasing social distance means the relations are becoming weaker. And similarly, we have this distance concept, and distance concept also has undergone change because of transport and communication technology. Now, nowadays, the you can say economic distance or social distance, the physical distance. The physical distance has been reduced because of the technological revolution. One can have breakfast in Tokyo and lunch in London and dinner at New York. So this is the global. It has become a global village. The world has become a global village, and in the very recent past, you can say the whole world has been reduced to the palm or laptop, palm top or laptop, you can say. It was unheard maybe 20 years back, 30 years back, talking to a distant person in other countries. Now it has become such a easy kind of thing, and this kind of technological change has influenced the social relations, social bondage, and even communication technology like the electronic media, there are the TV and all kinds of things. Again, it has world has become very small. In everyone's drawing room, you can have any of the channels of the world and know what is happening immediately. So this kind of impact, it becomes a topic for research, how technological methods or the technological changes has affected the family life or social life, social interaction, social bondage, or how it has affected the economic aspects, how the trade activities taking place, all those things can be done. So this is very important in the present day context. These are the important topics for social research, economic research, or any kind of research, particularly the social sciences. Now, research plays two important roles. It contributes to the general fund of knowledge, and also it resolves some of the social problems, some of the complex social problems. That is the advantage of research. You have again two kinds of research: theoretical and fundamental research, theoretical or fundamental research, which are also referred as pure or basic research. Say in case of geography, land use zoning or terrain evaluation, these are more fundamental kind of research. And the applied kind of research or action-oriented research in the field of physical, biotic, socio-economic, and political issues can be taken as applied or action-oriented research. The other types, you can say, empirical and diagnostic. Empirical relies on experience or observation, whereas diagnostic carries out pilot study or diagnostic the problem. And the empirical studies, generally you can say in the 4th century BC, 4th century BC, Aristotle introduced the inductive reasoning, that is the, you can say, particular to general. That is inductive reasoning, which is being used by social scientists. You do a particular study as a case study and then generalize it. So that is the inductive approach, which Aristotle introduced in the 4th century BC. And Plato subsequently gave the deductive approach. That is going from general to particular. You have a theoretical base, and from theoretical base you study and see the departures, or how far your study fits into the theoretical frame, or what are the departures and what kind of modifications can be done in the given theory pattern. Then you have, as part of the philosophical thoughts, positivism, structuralism, and humanism. You must have heard about these underlying philosophical basis. Positivism is related to objectives that exist independently of observer. Whether an observer notices it or not, the phenomena exists. That is, objects exist independent of the observer, which was given by Auguste Comte. Reality is present in appearances. So most of the natural sciences are based on objectivity. There is no subjective element. There is no subjective element in natural sciences, and there is no ambiguity. There is no personal bias. Whatever is observed, or reality which is present in appearances is taken by the scientists. Whereas the second one is the humanism, which most of the social scientists, humanism is another kind of philosophical thought given by Lay. The creative power of human intentionality is central to the vision of reality. So man determines the complexity of society by his interaction. Here, the first one was objective reality, and this is subjective reality. The subjective reality, which is active, and most of the social sciences and humanities have this philosophical base. So it is the intentionality of human being becomes more important. So here subjective element is there. Subjective element in the sense, if 10 individuals are given sophisticated similar camera, 10 individuals' performance in clicking the photograph varies. So it is the man behind the camera is more important. Man behind the camera is more important than the camera. So this is creativity of the human mind is more important. So it is, most of the social sciences are subjective, though they are based on the subjective. They are making it more, as far as possible, subjective kind of thing, making it more objective and trying to generalize and bring out the social theories, economic theories, spatial theories, behavioral theories, and all kinds of things. And the third one is structuralism, given by Keat and Urey. So structure consists of the system of relations that underline and account for the sets of observable social relations and patterns. So here, certain things are not observed, certain things are hidden, underlying explanatory structure. Now we all know that society is more corrupt, or corruption is more predominant in the society, but corruption cannot be observed. It is the underlying hidden phenomena which is passive, that as I said, through such kind of hidden thing, the standard of living in the American society is understood. So there are now many methods which are which are used to find out the hidden reality. Now, take for example the criminal investigation where lie detecting machine which tries to get the truth from the criminal through such kind of methods, lie detecting. So it is otherwise in the normal situation, criminal may not reveal his mind or hidden things. So this is the third kind of philosophical thought which is kept as the base. Now, humanism has again the three subdivision categories. Humanism has idealism, phenomenalism, and existentialism. Idealism, that is, you may say, Adarshvad. So we always know the social scientists think of idealizing certain things. It aims at capturing objective reconstruction of thoughts. Everyone thinks of ideal teacher, ideal student, ideal house, ideal village, ideal town. So trying to seek ideal in a real kind of world. So such kind of studies also can be made. Now it is based on this, standards are worked out. Say ICMR has worked out every Indian should get about 200 grams, 200 milliliter of milk per day. So this is the kind of, or 2300, 2600 calorie per day an individual should consume. So this kind of standardization, the calorie requirement varies from male to female, urban to rural, occupations, climate, and other things. But per capita calorie requirement are worked out for individual countries, and 2600 is required, but the availability in India is about 2300 this one, and in the developed countries is more than 3000 calories per person. So here, trying to find the ideal thing, standards are being worked out, and try to implement as through social planning or urban planning and other things. And the other aspect of humanism is phenomenalism. That is Vastavikvad. Vastavikvad, how phenomena exist, way of being, how they exist. That is subjective description of the living world as experienced. So here's a little subjective element comes. Phenomena is observed, and what is bringing to the that is the Vastavikvad. What prevails? What prevails? So, but here subjective element is prevailed. As many people say that individual may experience rope as a snake, and another person may experience as rope. So there are perceptive or subjective differences, but everyone tries to understand the phenomena as it exists. Okay, and the third one is existentialism. The difference between phenomenalism and existentialism is so the second one is Vastavikvad, and the third one is Astitvad. That really exists. That is developed as a reaction against abstract systems of thought, therefore combines subjective perspective with firm grounding in material existence. Now, many times in our day-to-day experience, we say that there may be 5 members in the family, and that is phenomena. Five members are present. But in terms of existentialism, say for eating purpose, you may count 5 members, but when it comes to work, you may consider only 3. The other 2 members may not be that efficient or may not be useful for certain kind of task to be carried out. So here the difference between Vastavikvad and Astitwavad. So that difference the social scientists certainly do it. So these are part of humanism, and they are very relevant to all social sciences. And as I said earlier, the Greeks had two traditions: mathematical, that is Ptolemy introduced mathematical tradition, and Strabo introduced literary tradition. Many of the social sciences have this kind of thing: the traditional or descriptive studies, and also quantitative or statistical studies. So most of the social science research uses statistical and mathematical or quantitative methods, and some studies are totally traditional and literary kind of traditions. And the Plato introduced deductive approach, and Aristotle introduced inductive approach, as I said. Now we have different kind of approaches. Man-environment approach, how man is interacting with the environment and developing the human societies, developing the settlements, human settlements, and it is introduced by the French school of thought, Vidal de la Blache, having the man-environmental relationships. And here we all know that when it comes to environment, particularly the physical environment, we have the mountains, plateaus, and the plains, and all over the world, the plain areas are highly suitable for human habitation. Neither the mountainous areas nor the plateau areas are that suitable. So here it may be the northern, it may be the riverine plains or coastal plains, which are habited. You may talk of the United States, Canada, then China, India. In India, nearly 60 to 70% of India's population is concentrated from Punjab, Haryana to West Bengal and Assam. So 60 to 70% is concentrated in these: Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab, UP, Bihar, and West Bengal and Assam. So few states, but large chunk of population is concentrated, and rest you can say the West Coast Plain and the East Coast Plain. The East Coast Plains have more of deltas, and the delta soil is highly suitable because of high fertility, and the human population and the settlements have concentrated in the East Coast as well as West Coast around the major ports. So this is one kind of man-environment relation. How this approach is also used even by economics, where land, Ricardo's theory of rent, where the best lands are suitable, A-grade lands are first occupied, first cultivated, then man goes for B grade, C grade. So this is how the process, how environment, in a certain kind of environment, how man behaves and uses the environment and develops those areas. This you can see, observe, even in psychology or sociology, in an empty bus, when passengers enter the bus, the initial occupants is left side windows are occupied. Left side windows, central windows are occupied. Then right side windows are occupied. Then at the end, you find the front seats, very front seats, or back seats are occupied later. So this is how in an empty way, or the vacant kind of bus, how human passengers occupy the bus space. This is a kind of behavioral or social behavioral kind of studies which can be done. Then similarly, when it comes to biocover, the forests, grasslands, and deserts, these are the three important biocovers. And as you all know, that world's population is concentrated only in grasslands, neither in the forest area nor in the desert area. less population, but concentration is in the grasslands, that is the temperate grasslands and tropical grasslands. Tropical grasslands. So, whether you may call prairies of United States and Canada or selvas of Eurasia, downs, velds, all these temperate grasslands where wheat is grown, barley is grown. When grassland climate is suitable for human habitation because moderate climate, moderate temperature, moderate rainfall. So, and the agricultural activity and livestock activity is more predominant that supports the population. Similarly, in the tropical grasslands, they are not much because there is a high growth of grass, but the Asian lowlands, Asian tropical lowlands of India, China, Southeast Asia, Japan, they are all densely populated. So this is how you can have the man-environmental kind of approach in studying this one. And when we conduct this man-environment relationship, we have come from environment-dominant human society to man-dominant society, because in the earlier period, environment was dominant, technology was minimum, primitive society and traditional society with less technology. So man used to be a passive and environment used to determine the human activities and human life. Whereas with the advancement of technology, agricultural technology and with the science and development technology, science and technological development, in all fields, in construction, in industry and transport, communication, gradually man with his technological advancement started conquering environment. He has started occupying the difficult environment. If you see today, the Alaska, which is covered with glaciers, and this one, the human habitation has increased in Alaska, which is the 50th state of United States, where it is also rich in oil, and in a difficult environment, say Norway, Sweden, northern part of Russia, and northern part of Canada, man has started in a difficult, very cold environment, started making human habitation. So this is because of the technological advancement, and so with that, the philosophical change is environmental determinism to possibilism, probabilism, and exceptionalism. So it has become, man has become a technocentric. Even man has started developing human settlements beneath the sea. On the continental shelf, you have human habitation. You have ocean parks and human habitation, even under the water. So this is not totally the environment dominant, but it is now because of technocentric man. But we all know that though we have in a limited way conquered environment, we all know that in front of environment, man is nothing. And with all these natural hazards, man is insignificant. Those who have visited the Himalayan, lofty Himalayas, everyone realizes that he is so insignificant and nothing in front of nature. So you may think of that kind of thing because of tsunamis, because of earthquakes, because of volcanoes, cloud bursts, floods. Man becomes helpless. Even highly developed countries like US, Canada, and other countries are also experiencing such kind of hazards. Only thing, because of less population, they have less of calamity. But countries like the populated countries of South Asia, including Bangladesh, they all have the impact of environmental fury. So this is the man environment approach. You have different kinds of things. Now, the next is the behavioral approach. Sociologists, psychologists, and even economics, because they do consumer behavior pattern, consumer behavior studies. So, behavioral approach is becoming more dominant in social science research, and this is the contribution of British and American social scientists, Patrick Geddes, Patrick Gould, Lowenthal, Lynch, Ifuton, and these people who gave importance to the behavior. Earlier societies or the rural societies are regulated. Behavior is regulated by custom and customs of the family and the religious institutions. But in the urban areas, it is more dominant with other aspects. So here, behavioral approach, we have the organic space, perceptual space, and symbolic space. Three kinds of theoretical space. Organic space, where individual is known by person. That is in the neighborhood where you reside, your house and around neighborhood, it is organic space. Your identity is with reference to your personal name. That is organic space. Family and neighbors. That is organic space. Perceptual space is where you interact. All kinds of interactions. Maybe your shopping area, your office area, and other places in urban area where you visit. Whatever you perceive, that is your perceptual space. Because perceptual space of males is different, females is different, urban man's perceptual space is different, and rural man's perceptual space is different. Because in the rural area, if you go even 2-3 kilometers distance, the rural man will say it is just here nearby. But urban man, even if it's nearby, he will prefer to take auto or any other kind of mode of transport. But that is the perception of space of urban man and the rural man. So that goes by the urban, rural, male, female, and other aspects. Then the symbolic space is most of the larger cities have the symbolic space where individuals interact with symbols. Now, smaller town has the traffic policeman to control the traffic, whereas the larger urban area, the traffic is controlled by signals. So they are nothing but kind of signals. Or the the destination or the nameplates, the road name or the direction, all are indicated. They are all nothing but symbols. So the urban man interacts in urban space using the symbols, seeing the symbols. In international airports, many of you must have seen the non-English speaking countries may be written in French or English, French and English, but those who don't know both the languages, and if an individual is hungry, he will see the symbol of plate and fork and spoon, or fork and knife. So he will see the direction and move in that direction. So most of the symbols are given. About the water, toilet facility, then hotels, canteens, and all kinds of such symbols are used. That is a symbolic space. So these are mainly used in the behavioral approach. And as I said, in human interaction and human relations, we use the intimate space, personal space, social space, and public space. All these are defined in terms of distance, in terms of feet. Intimate space is between the husband and wife, parents and children, the siblings. That is the intimate space. And the personal space, again, the family relatives, the second order family relatives, friends. It is a personal space. Then you have social space where you are attending the reception or social party where certain distance is maintained to have social interaction and social relations. And the public space where the leader is doing his campaign and delivering speech, beyond the 25 meters, 25 feet, I'm sorry, 25 feet is the public space. So there is no eye-to-eye contact in case of public space interaction. So these are the kind of studies which we use these types of space with reference to individual and individuals interaction and relations. And even space, as I was mentioned, there's always a kind of elbow space. We talk of elbow space. Elbow space, which individual realizes when in a cinema hall, when you are sharing a common chair arm, there's always a clash between the persons sitting next to you for elbow space, and leg space. Talk of vehicles, you have more leg room. Individuals talk of leg room and all that. So their space is important. And then, as you all know about the surrogate mothers where home is rented, the home space of, and particularly that is has become acquired greater importance in Indian situation, where the Western couples come to India to find prospective surrogate mother, since they don't have children. So they come here, and maybe middle class or lower class women folk rent their home, and all cost and everything, health cost, everything is borne by the prospective parents, and home is rented. So there's a home space. See, we are talking so minute kind of thing, how it is happening, and surrogacy is acquiring greater importance. Now, the third is ecological approach, where sociologists, geographers use this ecological approach, and it is the Chicago School of Sociology actually use the principles of ecology to human society, where you have a symbiotic relation, that is between rural society and the urban society. Both have the interdependent interactions. The rural society interacts with urban society, and urban society interacts with rural society. Urban population depends on green grocery like vegetables, fruits, grains, milk, egg, and all kinds of things from rural areas. And the rural population depends on urban products, urban consumer products. So this is nothing but a kind of symbiotic relationship, which is the principle of concept of ecology being used by sociologists and urban geographers in their studies. And you have the concept of dominance, dependence. There are 7 or 8 ecological concepts which are being used by human ecologists. And when it comes to ecology, the term comes from ICOS. ICOS means habitation. Habitat, that is living organism, their habitation. So there are different categories based on physical environment and based on the living organism. We have pond ecology, river ecology, mountain ecology, desert ecology. They're all physical aspects, but they're seeing the habitat and doing the intensive study. Similarly, you have forest ecology, grassland ecology, animal ecology, rural ecology, urban ecology, and tribal ecology. So here it is your living organisms, focuses on living organisms and how living organisms interact with their immediate environment. Environment. So this is the important kind of thing where interaction, interdependence with living communities, maybe racial interactions, religious interaction, caste interaction, linguistic interaction, cultural groups. So you and the interaction is we have the Bogarda scale in social geography, where the interaction and the relation is measured. Relation is measured. So the first is with reference to the family members. That is the first scale, and the second is friends and that kind of Bogarda scale. So throughout the since the development or the emergence of Homo sapiens, you have the racial interactions, religious interactions. So religious interactions developing into marriage. So marriage is the in a Bogarda scale through marriage, relation becomes first order. So that is through marriage is the closest relation, and it is interreligious, intercaste marriages happening, and you may not be surprised. You will have the surname like Abdul Narayan D'Souza. So it is all related to three kinds of religion and developing the family with Abdul Narayan D'Souza. So Muslim, Hindu, and Christian kind of nowadays at least two you definitely find, but this kind of interaction is emerging. And then the linguistic interactions, cultural interactions. So because of the technological development, international marriages have become very common. Many Indians marrying Chinese, Russian, German, American. Gradually it is increasing because when international migration increases, and when they migrate when they are young and young for studies, maybe job, and they settle and they come in contact with larger prospective brides or prospective colleagues, and then they enter into the marriage kind of things. So this is how the cultural interaction and cultural groups emerge. So it is between the individuals, interdependence between the living communities or surrounding physical environment. Then the last one is welfare approach. Where again it is by the American school. Several studies have been made of social welfare, well-being, quality of life, level of living, social justice, equity, all related to sociology, psychology, geography, even eco-politics kind of political sciences discipline. So here when we talk of welfare approach, the major components are nutrition, health, housing, income, leisure, recreation, social security. Focus is on who gets what, where, when, how, and why. If you answer this question, you will get the detailed data. Who gets what? कोने किसको क्या मिलता है? Who gets what? Where? कहाँ मिलता है? कब मिलता है? कैसे मिलता है? क्यों मिलता है? आप सब जानते हैं कि इलेक्शन के टाइम में काफ़ी कुछ cash and material things are transacted. So when you know that when the election is in the offing, there are many kinds of tangible things are exchanged. So and who gets what? किसको क्या मिलता है, कहाँ मिलता है. See, again, when it comes to the distribution, certain states may get more benefits, certain states may not get much. There may be discrimination. So where also, this is more important for us, for particularly for geographers, where question we focus, and in the process what happens, any of the benefits, any of the new things are introduced first in the metropolitan cities, whether it may be in malls or metros or any kind of innovative technology. When it is introduced, it may be introduced in Bombay or Delhi or all major cities. Then that kind of developmental component gets into the smaller cities. All innovative methods and developmental things are introduced first in the major metropolitan. Then it may go to Pune, Jaipur, Bhopal. So second order kind of thing. So it percolates from top to bottom. So where is important, and when again, as I said, whether many times the flood relief or drought relief, it does not come in time. Does not come in time. So timely relief, if timely relief is given, that's a kind of great thing. But generally, it does not happen. The drought kind of thing, or before agricultural operations, if loan is required, if it does not come during the plowing field time or seedling time, then it is of no use. So when is important, and how it is given, in the form of cash, in the form of credit, or in the form of, how it is given and why it is given. So all these things are important to question. Question is simple, but if you spell out in detail through questionnaire, you can get sufficient data information for all these questions. There are other methodological approaches such as the regional approach, systematic approach, systems approach, cartographic approach, quantitative approach. So you can study through regional approach. Now India can be studied. India can be studied by topic wise, like location, geology, topography, soil, climate. These are all topical. Go one by one, you study. The other one is regional approach. That is the 7 major regions of India, like Himalayas, the northern plain, the central hills and plateaus, the peninsular India, west coast plain and the east coast plain, and the islands. So each of the region, you study the Himalayas in terms of topography, in terms of vegetation, in terms of drainage, soils, everything, and resources. The most important is the resources, where you have the water resource and the forest resource. So that is a regional approach. So all the 7 regions you can study in detail, in totality, which becomes a regional approach. Regional approach. There are a number of other. Now, in most of your research, which is very common, every researcher starts with library phase, intensive referencing of background material related to the research theme. Now, what is important is the standard research-based books, and journals, which are very important. And nowadays you find the research abstracts. In our subject, we have geo abstracts published by United Kingdom. So whatever kind of research is published in different parts of the world, it is done, it is abstracted and published in geo-abstracts. So even ICCSR, the Shodh, they also have the research ICCSR abstracts, research abstracts. Whosoever submits PhD thesis, it is researcher is asked to submit an abstract of his thesis, and that abstract is published in ICSR journal. So very important is the survey of research. Every subject has the survey of research. Survey of research in geography is there. There are a number of volumes published by ICSR, and survey of research in sociology, psychology, all other disciplines you have, where the various topics, research papers published in different journals is cited there. So intensive referencing of the research journals and research-based books. I myself have the 4 research-based books, and one of the books was published in American Journal Review. Review has been published. So you have to make a distinction between the textbooks and the research-based books. And for researcher, research-based books are more important. And happy to manage by you have various national library is there in Calcutta, and then National Archives is there in Delhi, and different states have the state archives. Now, archives are such a wonderful kind of thing. If anyone is doing intensive research of the past, the historical documents, or of the Mughal period or British period, all those are well preserved in national archives and some of the state archives. Archives and national libraries and the state level libraries, and some of the royal families or the palaces also maintain some kind of and also some of the religious institutions like churches also have their own documentation. So I'm telling more of a strenuous kind of work, but every researcher should do intensive library work, reference work, and then formulate the research theme and survey of literature. This is a prerequisite for scientists, science research or social science research. Now, the second one relates to field phase. This includes the collection of relevant geographical data or any kind of social data from the field. And the data is so scattered. Now, the sociologists may have to collect from jails or police stations or social welfare departments. You have to identify where your true data, up-to-date data are available. So the data sources are scattered, and you have to go personally to do acquire the required data, and then some kind of data which you are not getting through office sources. Then you have secondary data which you can generate through questionnaires and many other methods. So that is one can go for interview method or questionnaire schedule or through mails. There are a number of methods one can adopt. So that is the third is after collection of data, processing of data is very important, and many of the social scientists do the tabulation, and the cross tabulation is very important. 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 cross tabulation, not the simple tabulation of data, but cross tabulation is very important. And while doing cross tabulation, you have to identify the independent and the dependent variables, and accordingly you can do the cross tabulation 2 by 2 or 3 by 3, and then one can go for chi-square test or t-test or some statistical test to prove whether there is any relation between the dependent variable with the independent variable. So x and y variables or even multi correlation can kind of things can be taken, and through primary. Primary is through questionnaire and interview method and other kind of things, and one may acquire about gender, occupation, education, income, land form, land use, etc. Those are depending on what. Now, most of the social sciences are now using statistical method and the SPSS method. Only thing one has to be sure what kind of input data you are giving, because if you are using trash data or irrelevant data, it is like trash in and trash out, or garbage in and garbage out. So very important, your data quality has to be good and relevant data has to be there. And generally the measures of central tendency and dispersion, correlation, regression, non-parametric tests like chi-square test, stone t-test, z-scores, time series analysis, even economists, sociologists, psychologists, they all do. They are very familiar. Then the number of such kind of techniques are published in sociology, psychology subject. Then some of the methods which we are familiar is the shape index, detour index, alpha, beta, gamma connectivity index, Gini's concentration index, Knox index of well-being, least cost method, near neighbor analysis, shortest path method, optimization techniques, factor analysis, minimax method, remote sensing and GIS methods, Lorentz curve, and altimetry curve. So now I will tell you some of one of my papers has been published in Tata Institute of Social Science on that is the Indian Journal of Social Work, that is on measuring social well-being in Gujarat, taking 184 talukas and more than 20 indicators and 184 talukas using Knox's index. This is a very interesting kind of thing where it has been analyzed inter-district, inter-taluka, inter-region variation. Gujarat is physiographically divided into North Gujarat plain, Central Gujarat plain, South Gujarat plain, then North Kathiawar and Kutch, Central Kathiawar, and South that is coastal Kathiawar, then Eastern hilly area. So these are 7 this thing, and which region is having higher social well-being, which region is having lower social well-being, which taluka is having higher well-being and lower well-being. So these have been identified through those indicators. Many sociologists also carry out using the indicators, and people from participants from Gujarat know that Sami, Harish, these are the North Gujarat tahsils having very low level of well-being, because of drought prone and other kind of things. So the Eastern hilly area also having a low level of well-being, whereas Surat, Baroda, and Ahmedabad urban areas having relatively higher well-being. So this is one important kind of thing where interrelated kind of thing. In the sense, there are certain kind of research journals where interdisciplinary research papers are published. One is Nagar Lok from Delhi, where the economists, sociologists, political scientists, geographers contribute articles to Nagar Lok of Delhi. So, Indian Journal of Social Welfare, again, sociologists, psychologists, geographers, political scientists, they contribute. So, these are the one. We have Indian regional science journal published from Calcutta, where number of economists, regional economists, contribute articles. So one of my research paper is on physical factors affecting municipal expenditure. Now, municipal expenditure is microfinance or local public finance, micro public finance of economics. But I have taken this kind of topic, how the physical factors influence the municipal expenditure. I will just give a little hint that municipal expenditure is mainly to develop urban areas. Maybe laying the sewage line, the water connection lines, and such kind of things. Now, these are, and beneath the urban space, beneath the urban ground, you have number of lines going, like arteries going. It may be telephone line, electric cable line, sewage line, water line, telephone line. So number of things are underground. It has been mapped by the geographers like GPS, using GPS. Now, I'll just give the instance, a larger example and the smaller example. One is the developing the cities and towns of northern plain, like UP, Bihar, is less expensive or less costly compared to the development of urban areas in peninsular India. One reason, major reason, is the geological base. Now, any kind of development, you have to have the underground lines. To dig the line in the northern plain, you don't have any hard structure. In a small number of days, with less laborers, you can lay the sewage line, telephone line, electric line, water line with less effort with less cost, compared to the developing maybe Bangalore or Hyderabad, where you have geological structure, hard geological structure, and the digging the line becomes difficult or costly in terms of man hours, cost of the development. This is a major kind of thing. So how the geology or underground geology influence the municipal expenditure cost. When it comes to Gujarat, developing Rajkot is costly compared to Ahmedabad, because Ahmedabad is in the central plain, having soft surface, soft soil, where nowadays you find number of caves caving in, the land collapsing, or the floor collapsing and becoming huge holes on the streets. So this is the kind of geology here in Ahmedabad, whereas in Rajkot it's a hard geological structure, it is a basalt kind of thing. So this is one example how geographers can play, or geological aspect can be taken into consideration while doing the municipal expenditure exercise. And another one is shape index. Shape index in the sense the urban area, whether is it a circular, is it a triangular. Most of the urban areas in the coastal area, they are linear. Coastal towns are along the beach, along the coast. So providing urban facilities is more expensive because the population is spread out in a linear fashion. It is not compact. Even in the urban area, giving urban civic facilities in core area of the city is less expensive, because a smaller area occupied by large population, whereas outer areas is scattered. So providing street light or any kind of facility, road connectivity and bus connectivity, everything is more expensive in the outer area compared to the core area. Core area is less expensive, and the collection of municipal tax may be more in the core area and maybe less in the outer area. But whatever surplus collected from the core area is spent in developing the outer area. So these are some of the kind of the geology shape index we calculate and measure. We have the cartography phase. Now many historians are using the maps, and maybe economists are also doing the regional economics and other kind of studies. I will not insist because if you don't have the geographical background, you may take the help of geographers and you make your study more interesting. And then the final kind of thing is analysis and report writing phase, where writing has to be very meaningful, coherent, and presentation of tables, graphs, charts. It should be readable. Should not be irrelevant things should not be included. Known things should not be included, and the repetition should not be. Okay.
Honorable Chairperson, respected dignitaries, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. I propose my vote of thanks to Professor Dr. Kulkarni sir for his excellent speech. He has given full justice to the subject topic. We all are extremely in charge. We are extremely enriched and satisfied. We are very grateful to him. I also thank all the participants and HRD team, Refresher Course, Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. Thank you, sir. Thank you a lot.
Thank you so much for patient hearing. Thank you so much.